this episode of Honesty Talk, we're going to be speaking about heartbreak, heartache, heartbreak. So it's going to be a deep one, I feel. And when we were speaking about this privately, we kind of covered all the different scenarios wherein a person can experience heartbreak. So would you like to share some of those?
So, when we think about heartbreak, it's usually in the realm of a romantic marital relationship. And so we kind of just focus on heartbreak in that realm, but heartbreak can go further, and it does go further than just that, because it can be in the case where a child has done something that a parent would never have thought that they would do, and to think I never raised you, I never brought you up to do that, to make that choice. It can be down to siblings, between parents and child, but any kind of situation, any kind of circumstance, what that person can say, my heart is broken, that I feel disappointed, I feel hurt, I feel whatever emotion that they would use in my heart, that is actually considered to be heartbreak. So it's not just the marital sphere, and it goes further than that. And I kind of wonder, what are the ramifications of us not acknowledging that in certain situations, my heart has been broken, that I feel heartbroken. I think sometimes we hold back from labeling it that, because we feel like that is not.
It doesn't fit.
It doesn't fit. It's not deserving. It's not worthy. It's not bad enough, or whatever it is. But if you feel it there, you're heartbroken. And to acknowledge that.
And I think, I like what you said, that heartbreak can exist in a multitude of different relationships and situations. I also do think for Muslims, there isn't much discussion taking place surrounding heartbreak in regards to love. In regards to perhaps loving someone that you can't be with. I'm talking about, a sister loving a man, or a man loving a woman that they can't be with, that they're not married to, or that they're married and the husband has done something, or the sister has done something, or that you're longing to be with your husband who works on the other side of the world and is only able to come back for a month in the year. That kind of heartbreak. When it comes to love, we don't talk about this, but it's something that's so deep, so painful, so excruciatingly painful. It's very, very real. And it's something that when you experience heartbreak for whatever reason, it's something that you wake up with. It's something that you go to sleep with. It's something that enters everything that you're doing, eating, sleeping, working, speaking to people, doing very, very kind of mundane things. And it just doesn't escape you. And and because it doesn't escape you, you can't run from it. It's there until you are with your beloved, or your beloved is taken away, or you have some type of epiphany that this is not going to happen, or it's not good for me, or it's not going to work, or Allah does something. It's a daily struggle. It's a daily struggle, and many sisters go through it. I'm thinking about the messages that we've received at Honesty Talk. Most of them fall under the umbrella of heartache and heartbreak, right? So knowing that it's such an intense emotional struggle, and one that many people face, how do we journey through it? How do we cope with it? How do we reconcile with the fact that my heart is broken and it's going to continue to ache? And for the foreseeable future, I can see that it's going to continue to ache. And I'm really struggling to cope with it.
I'm listening to you, and I think from what both of you said, the fact that we don't label it, we have a very strict label of what we think qualifies. And because we think our experience doesn't fit, I think just right out the door, a lot of people don't even know that that's what's going on. There are so many people walking around with broken hearts and they have no idea.
Yes. That's
Like
exactly
it's,
what I was thinking.
To ID it first, the awareness right
Yeah.
out the door. They have
Right.
no idea that's what it is.
And it's sometimes labeled as something else.
Yeah, because also something else could be socially acceptable. Like if I'm grieving a loss, somebody passed away, it has a logical, or maybe it's just socially more acceptable.
It's universal.
It's understood.
It's universal.
Somebody died,
yeah.
so they're
Yeah.
grieving. It makes
Yeah.
sense. But heartbreak, maybe they feel like they need to justify, qualify, explain.
Particularly as Muslims. You know, when it comes to I'm talking about heartbreak with love, in the context of love, we don't like to
We don't talk about it.
Particularly when it comes to maybe outside the realms of marriage. And let's be real now. This is honesty talk. People do fall in love. Okay? People, you know, there may be a situation where a sister is going to have an arranged marriage that was conducted by her family, but she has fallen in love with someone at work, for example. This happens, or at school, you know, but we don't talk about it because, you know, it's haram. It shouldn't happen. You should only love and fall in love within marriage. But what happens to the very human occurrence of actually loving someone and falling in love with someone and you're not married to them, and the heartache and the heartbreak of that when you perhaps can't be with that person?
I think it's important to separate the principle from the human experience. So I think right now what we're addressing is the human experience. So for the person who's dealing with the heartbreak, you know, because I can already hear the fuss about you're promoting, opening the doors.
Of course we're not promoting. And you know, for the people that are saying that, they have an issue that they need to resolve within themselves. They need they do need therapy, because how can three Muslim women who are trying their best to aspire towards Allah's pleasure be promoting that? We're not promoting it. We're saying that it exists amongst Muslims. It exists.
And the fact, if you strip it all back, we are humans first.
Right, LaYinka.
And we have emotion.
Yeah.
Islam didn't come to strip us of emotion.
No.
Islam came to help us perfect ourselves and be better, right? So that we can manage ourselves better and show up better and improve our character. But it didn't come to say, hey, you, ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Okay, cool. That's that part of you stripped away. Like, you're not allowed to fall in love because now you're a Muslim. You're not allowed to fall in love now that you proclaim to believe in Allah. What?
Right. I mean, it's funny, I was just thinking about an interview that I watched, and I cannot remember who it was with or from, but it was actually a gay Muslim, okay, who was speaking about how he has journeyed through understanding his feelings, his homosexual feelings, and how he has tried to control them, to manage them, so that so that he doesn't act upon them.
Yeah.
And I watched this interview and I thought, you know what, subhanAllah, these are the types of discussions that we need. We know that homosexuality is not a part of our deen, but it happens. It is around us. And yes, there are gay Muslims. Now, that's not me saying that I'm promoting it, but we have to say that these things exist and we need to be discussing them, not from a position of propagating, right? But to say, well, what happens when a person is actually in that situation? And in fact, the mere fact that we're not discussing it, what does that mean for that person? It means that they're struggling alone. They don't know what to do with it. They don't know who to go to because it's a taboo, because it's haram, because it's shame. No, we are human. We are Muslims that go through pretty much what everyone else goes through. And in fact, we have the added burden, or the added weight rather, that, you know what, I can't talk about this because I'm Muslim. I shouldn't talk about it because I'm Muslim. In fact, I shouldn't be experiencing this because I'm Muslim.
And I'm bad.
And I'm bad. And so then what ends up happening to that person? they cannot reconcile how they can move forward with their situation. So what do they do? What do they end up doing? They withdraw from people. They may stop. They may their level of practice will start to diminish, and then before you know it, they've gone the complete other way.
Checked out.
Whilst if we did allow discussion, freedom of expression in the sense that this is real, this is what I'm going through, and I want to please Allah. I want to do the right thing. Help me. And just the starting point is just to talk about it.
Yeah, and I think that, once you remove the judgment, you can look at this as a situation. It's not the good and bad and shame. Take all that stuff aside for a second, and now let's look at it as just heartbreak, plain old heartbreak, without the cause, without the story. So if someone was in a situation, like if someone's working through another ailment of the heart, if they're working through grief, there are steps, there's a process, there's support.
Right.
So now in the same way, let's talk about steps. Let's talk about support. Let's talk about moving through it.
Yeah.
And I think that the fear is that if I hold space for you, then I'm condoning, and that means I support, and that means that I'm not standing up for what's right. And so I don't want to be supportive in case I'm encouraging or enabling. So if I can say, okay, I see where you're coming from, and I see that you're hurting, but let me support you, and maybe let's help you move forward in a more healthy way. I know you love this person. I know that this is hard, but I love you and I'm looking out for your future. Let's talk about how we can make the best decision for you going forward.
And that's a totally different vibe.
Absolutely.
That's a totally different vibe.
It's a beautiful
There's
vibe.
acknowledgement that this is happening to you, and I see you, and I know it's not a party. I know this sucks. But we still shouldn't make a decision on your life from this position, and let's work together to see what we can do.
Because the worst thing when you're going through heartbreak is for someone else to dismiss your experience and to dismiss what is going on for you at that point, and to, almost say, well, you have no right to feel that. That's the worst
They
thing.
bring the story back into it, and now you're wrong for feeling that way, and how did you get in that situation in the first place, and mixing, and
Right.
that's it. It's up in flames.
So thinking about the steps, and we're not just talking about, we kind of veer towards
the romantic
heartbreak,
relationship,
the romantic relationship, but just heartbreak in general, whether that's from loss, betrayal, love, whatever. Knowing that it's a daily struggle, and we spoke about the importance of there being like a plan and steps of how they can cope. I would really like to discuss this, because I'm sure there are viewers watching this saying, Alhamdulillah, someone is finally
acknowledged.
Someone's finally acknowledging it. Someone's speaking about it. Let's give these sisters or brothers hope. Let's give them some steps that they can take to manage the heartbreak until Allah brings
the ease. I think steps, at the start is space. You need space, like physical, mental. You need distance and room to process what you're going through right now. So an incident happens, a person's hit with something, a breakup, whatever it is that happened that triggers the whole thing to happen. The chain reaction starts. People are immersed in everything else. Your children need you. This person is asking for that from you. This person's weighing in. Don't divorce. Don't break. It's like, whoosh, it's too much noise. You need space. You need to tell everyone, give me 3 months, 6 months, whatever I need time to process and come to some clarity within myself. Please just give me the room. Because I think a lot of times it's like, make a decision, take action, cut them off, break this. We're going to marry you off quickly to someone else. We're going to shift you. Pause. You need to pause, because it's not the time to make decisions. It's not the time. You're not clear. So how are you going to do that?
And I think in order to request for others to give you space, it's first you need to give yourself the permission to have space.
Take that space. Yeah.
Because sometimes, when you're going through heartbreak, we feel like we need to keep going so I don't feel it. So the numbing starts.
Yeah.
I need to keep going.
Let
me do something. Let me go to the gym. Let me go, keep moving, because as soon as I stop moving, the voices start.
Oh, they start. They're coming at night anyway.
And I have to. So the binge eating happens, the binge watching happens, the unhealthy
oversleeping.
Yeah, unhealthy behavioral patterns start to kick in because people are fearful of entering that space of actually acknowledging the fact that this hurts.
And these
And
are
facing
old.
that pain.
Yeah.
Facing the pain is part of the process. It's not going to be easy, but it needs to be faced, because as long as you keep denying it, the longer you prolong the path, kind of pull yourself from the path towards healing, because you need to face it.
So it's naming it. It's saying, my heart is aching because of this. My heart is aching because of this. So what happens once we label it and we name it? What's the next step? Because, I mean, I'm hearing you that you need space for 3-6 months. This person is going through heartache and they can't see the end of the day. They're struggling to see, how am I going to cope with going to sleep with this and knowing that I'm going to wake up with it in the following morning?
People need to get help, some sort of help to work through that process. And at that point is a beautiful point to assess your relationship with Allah.
Absolutely.
Al-Wadud, the one who loves, the one who will not break your heart. Even though in that moment you might think that he has, because it's part of your qadr, you never know that what can come from a broken heart. Like the beauty that can come from a broken heart. I always see like something crumbling gives you the ability to start to shape that and mold that into something new.
Building material.
Right. And I think that I've seen this in Palestine, where they've used rubble to build things that are like to build new buildings, to make new buildings. And it's just it's incredible. It doesn't mean that the thing is destroyed. It means you have the opportunity to build something new. Right? And so getting the help, whether that's a friend that you'll say, look, I just need your support
Whenever I need to call on you.
and knowing that Allah is also is the source of mending that broken heart.
What you said about your connection to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because I think when you're heartbroken, it's like you're cracked open and everything pours out. Whoa, get ready. It's just gonna, everything's gonna come out. And it's truly like in salah, in dua, it's real. Boy, it's real. Like at that time, it's pouring out of you. It's genuine. You're present. It's 110% all the way. So it is such a perfect opportunity. And also, and you'll feel that the people around you, as much as they want to be there for you, no one knows the full extent of what's going on.
Except him.
There's no one.
Yeah.
There's no one.
Except him.
Because some people add to that heartbreak by feeling like these people should be whatever, that expectation. But they can't grasp it like you who's experiencing.
I think one practical step that those who are experiencing heartbreak can take at any time, day or night, regardless of the intensity of the heartbreak, is to come to Allah vulnerably and to say to Allah, this person betrayed me, or I love this person and I want to be with this person and my parents won't let me be with them, or Allah, they're forcing me to get married, but I'm in love with him or I'm in love with her and this is hurting me. SubhanAllah, do you not know that Allah sees your situation completely? And he knows the matters of your heart. He knows how your heart is beating, how it's skipping beats, how it's just aching so badly. Turn to him and tell him, he is your intimate companion. Talk to him and say to him, I want this and I don't know if it's good for me. I don't even know if it's going to come to me, but I can't go through days like this anymore. I'm really, really struggling, Ya Rabbi. Help me. Really, really just say exactly what you're feeling. Name it with your Lord. Name it with your Lord and just release it. We said that it's pouring forth. Let it pour forth to him. And I think that gives the soul solace it's a soothing balm for the heart. You know, the heart is breaking. It's a balm that's just putting the pieces back together. And I don't think there's anything like you said, because people come and go. Sometimes they're judgmental. Sometimes they're like this. But you know, you can go back to him at any time of the day or night, and you can be completely honest. And you know that when you're doing that, he already knows. He already knows what you're going through. There's nothing like it, right?
And if the opportunity, because some people, especially maybe heartbreak in the realm of loss, they feel like, I can't let go of this, because if I do, that means I've betrayed them.
They're fighting the good fight. Yeah.
If I move on, then that means in some way I'm forgetting them. I'm letting go of them, how much they meant to me, how the love that we shared, the memories that we had, that I'm somehow letting them down. And sometimes it's easy in those situations to prolong the heartache because of what you've decided letting go of it means. And in those circumstances, it's really important to get clear on the meaning of the two. Like, your love for them isn't dependent on you being in a state of heartbreak day in, day out, like for the rest of your life.
You don't need to be broken for them.
No.
Yeah.
You can, and in fact, though they may not be in your life, though they may not be in the world, you can still love them. And you can still love them positively. It doesn't need to be in the form of heartbreak. And it's almost like it's loving their memory. It's loving what they loved, that still exists in the world.
Loving what they stood for.
Loving what they stood for. And that's a way to love them still, you know, even though they've passed. Gosh, it makes you think. It really, really makes you think. I mean, heartbreak covers so much ground and so many different situations. I guess kind of final thoughts and words on this topic. Particularly, I think it would be really, really nice for us to address viewers who may be watching this, who are going through the daily struggle of heartbreak, waking up with it, going to sleep with it. Final thoughts, final kind of soothing words that we can offer them.
I think I want to direct mine particularly to betrayal.
Okay.
For people who are going through that and feeling like everything in the past was a lie, or that, you know, up until this point, nothing has any meaning anymore. I think that it's important something like what you just said, that was then. The memories were valid, the experiences were valid, it served its purpose in its time. You know, you don't have to cancel
all of that
because it ended in this particular way. Like, at this point, this is what's happening, but at that time it wasn't bad, and it wasn't broken, and it wasn't negative, and it wasn't false. It was. And it was beautiful, and there were good times, and you can hold them both. You can say, this was beautiful, but now
your heart has room
forward.
For both.
That I leave that there beautiful.
And would you say that enables a person to let go positively and gracefully?
Because you feel like everything was destroyed. It feels like everything behind me is just rubble. It's just destroyed.
Yeah.
That's harder to recover from. Versus, I will close the chapter intact. And that was that. But now this is my signal to move to the next chapter gracefully, you know? Let me step in.
I love that. Jazakallah khair.
LaYinka.
LaYinka, which angle of heartbreak are you going to be speaking about?
I think there are so many that come to mind, you know, especially, I guess, heartbreak in terms of motherhood, because that's not something that we speak about in terms of your child has maybe chosen a different path, took a particular course of action that you would never choose, and your heart is broken because that leads to blame, and it was my fault and things like that. And just to know that in that particular realm, you did your best. You really and truly did. And their actions are their actions. They chose it. They've got the autonomy to make their choices. and you gave them everything you could possibly give them, and them choosing something different is not a reflection of you. And you can recover, and you can remain whole and intact. It doesn't mean now that you as a human, you're finished, that you're rubbish, that you're a failure, that you're trash. You're okay. It's just that action, that was theirs. And to not hold on to the blame that you've attached to that action.
Jazakallah khair. I think for me, I was quite passionate about it, knowing many sisters who have found themselves in the situation where they have fallen in love with someone that they can't be with. So there's the heartbreak of longing. And I find that they feel incredibly alone because they don't have anyone to speak about because they're coming from a position of shame. They feel ashamed that they've fallen in love with someone outside of marriage. So I'd like to talk about this. I would say that it's the healing from that has to come from your very, very close relationship with Allah, that you need to take. No one will understand it, particularly Muslims, because they're so judgmental. You really need to heal with Allah, and you need to trust Allah's timing of when you will heal. Name it, say it, lift it up to Him. Tell your Lord that I'm struggling with this. I want you to be pleased with me. I want to do the right thing. But this is honestly how I'm feeling, and this is what I'm really, really struggling with. Just mend my heart, Ya Allah. And if you know that the mending of my heart is to be with this person, then please just bring me to him or bring me to her. Bring him to me or bring her to me. And quicken it, make that quick. And if you know that he's not meant for me, then Ya Allah, replace my heart with a love for something else, with a love for the person that I'm meant to be with, or with a love for a friend. Just take the feelings, the intense feelings that I'm experiencing, and direct it to where it's best. Yeah, and trust in His timing, and realize that may happen very, very quickly. It may take days, it may take months, it may take years. But if there is a gap between your asking of it and His deliverance, it's because Allah loves the broken heart. And we have to remember this. And why does He love the broken heart? Because it's only when we are severely tested, or when the heart really experiences that level of pain, that we turn to Him, and we turn to Him needy. We show Him how dependent we are of Him and His help. And He loves it when the servant comes to Him vulnerable, begging, needy, trusting, So the prolonging that you perceive it to be may just be that He loves to hear from you.
You know what? I love that you added there at the beginning, just asking Allah to bring you to that person. Like it validates that it's okay to love. Yeah. Like sometimes even just talking to Allah about, I love this person, Ya Rab. Like that level of intimacy with Allah, that you can't necessarily, that sometimes you can't have with another human being.
Right.
But that level of intimacy that, Ya Rab, I love this person. Maybe like it might be that there are difficulties, but I love him or her. I love them. And that is an acknowledgement that I am allowed to feel that way.
Right.
And that's so human, and such a human vulnerability and presentation before the Lord of the worlds.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
And that's what it always goes back to. SubhanAllah. So dear viewers, Heartbreak, do share your thoughts, comments with us, and we ask Allah Azza wa Jal to provide you with the exact type of soothing balm for your broken hearts. Ameen. Look forward to speaking with you, engaging with you over at the next episode of Honesty Talk, inshallah.
Find your people, even if it takes a long time. Hold out for them because they're there.
Sometimes you have to not be liked in the short term in order to deserve love in the long term.
A woman on her own is a force.
I just think from the powerful, strong, articulate, confident ones,
But when you bring women together, my gosh.
to the ones who are struggling and kind of trying to make sense of everything.
To know that there are people who will be in my lane, who will be my supporters and my cheerleaders.
I love sisters. I do. I just love sisters.